Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the Silverlit Nano Falcon XS. And this is the Guinness World Record holder for the world's smallest RC helicopter. And it is super tiny. You may have already seen my review of the Pico Falcon, which was a Japanese branding of this. But this is the actual official Silverlit branding, which should be available in US stores, and it's available online. And this is actually a 3-channel helicopter, so you've got a tail rotor here for forward and backward flight, and then we've got coaxial rotors on the top for our lift and their counter rotation, so they hold it stable and allow it to turn left and right. This is our transmitter here, so like I said, 3-channel. So on our left we've got the throttle for up and down, and that is spring loaded, so that'll return to throttle down if you let your hand off. You've got left and right turn, so that just rotates the helicopter left and right, and then forward and backward flight. And then you've got trim buttons here for left and right, so if it rotates on its own, you just give the opposite trim input until it straightens out and stays nice and straight. And then it does have a little light button here. There's just a tiny little, I think it's a white or maybe blue LED in the front there that you can turn on and off, so that's kind of cool. And then it charges off the transmitter here as well, so you've just got this little jack that flips up there, and then there's a plug on the bottom, and it just plugs right onto the transmitter there, and then turn it on to the charge position to charge the helicopter, and you want to have the helicopter off when you're charging it. It also comes with 2 spare tail rotors, and then this is a little tool to help pry the tail rotor off, and then you can put the new ones on. And then this is a little carrying case for it all. So you open this little plastic case up, the controller goes right in there, and the helicopter just snaps into this foam here on the top, and you can even put your spare parts in there and close it up, and now you take it all on the go. It's a nice protective case, and you're all ready to go. And like I said, since it charges off the transmitter, you've got everything you need there. And then it even actually doubles as it has a little helipad on there, so you can kind of lay it upside down and then use that as your little helipad. So pretty neat there. Let's see. There is no USB charging option though, so you've got to charge it off the transmitter. So you'll go through batteries pretty quickly charging off the transmitter. And it's not super stable. I think just being as small as it is, and maybe with the tail rotor being under the main rotors, it can get a little wobbly at times. So it's not a super great flyer, but it's a little bit more of a novelty just for the size of it and going for the world record. It flies well enough, and you can control it, actually go where you want to with it and move forward and turn, but it can get a little bit wobbly at times, and if you get too aggressive with it and try to make too many turns while moving forward and backward, the fly bar can get kind of crazy and send it, and it'll want to crash if you get too crazy. But if you keep it nice and smooth and gradual, it flies pretty well. Let's see. Oh, I didn't cover, it's got an 80 milliamp hour battery, so a tiny little battery in there. It takes about 23 minutes to charge, and you get about 4 minutes of flight. So not super long flight times, but that's about what you should expect for something this small, just a tiny little battery in it. Yeah, and that covers all the details, so let's go take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the Silverlit Nano Falcon XS, which is the current world's smallest helicopter. Wow, I can't even hold it, it's so small. This thing is super tiny. I mean, it's like the size of my thumb. Really, really small, and it's a 3-channel, so it has a rear tail rotor there for flying forward and backwards, so it is actually quite controllable as well. And there's a little light on the nose there that you can turn on and off from the transmitter. Hopefully that's showing up on camera. So not super helpful with the light, but kind of cool to have anyway, so we'll go ahead and keep that turned on. And we'll give her a flight. And it's a little shaky. I think just because of how small it is, it doesn't have the body mass to sort of counter the vibrations and stuff that you get from the rotors. So it kind of wobbles, but it's still stable and flies well. That's full speed ahead there. So definitely not a speed demon. Pretty neat, huh, Elsie? And it turns better to the left than to the right, I think. Just because of the torque of the rotors. But it doesn't turn super fast either direction. That's full turn right there. So a little bit slow on the turning, but I think they've kind of got it dialed back just because, you know, I mean, you can see it's wobbling in just a hover, so it probably gets a little unstable if you try to zip it around too fast and do a bunch of fast turning. But if you just kind of slowly, calmly fly it, and it's, you know, it's nice, easy flight, it's not too fast to get out of control, so I think a kid would be pretty successful with it, or beginner pilot. So definitely a cool one, you know, to get the young kids, new pilots. This would be a good one to start out with. Still going to be a little bit fragile though, just because of the coaxial rotors. There's a lot of parts to break, but because of how light it is, it probably wouldn't, you know, it doesn't have much momentum in it going into a crash, not a lot of mass to it to break parts. So it's probably pretty durable, though obviously not invincible. Get a little closer to it here so you can see it a little better. It is a little guy. Pretty cool. But yeah, that's really all there is to show with it. So let's start working our way in for a landing. Oh, it's getting a little wobbly. There we go. Stop wobbling. Whoa, whoa. Just wobbled itself out of the sky there all of a sudden. Why did it do that? I think I was trying to do too much controlling trying to land it. It got all crazy. There we go. Let's try that again. Oh, a little spin landing. Alright, well there we go. That's the Silverlit Nano Falcon XS. And that is the actual Guinness World Record holder for the smallest helicopter. Pretty neat. Pretty little, cool little guy. And then it stores in a little case here. You can put the transmitter and the helicopter in there, and it even has a little helipad on the bottom that you can, you know, you fold it out and makes a little landing pad. Pretty cool. Alright, we'll check the video description for price and purchase link. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.